Very good progress on the ORA.
This was the first meeting, as I understand, where contributions for 6G were submitted. Hello everyone, I'm Sushmit from DOCOMO Euro-Labs. Welcome to yet another episode of Telecom News, a series where we provide an update on the major talking points from the recently concluded standardization meetings. In today's video, we provide an update on the recently concluded SA2 meeting in August, as well as the plenary meeting that took place in September this year. And to provide these updates and to have a discussion, we have Malla from DOCOMO Euro-Labs. Hey Malla, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. So the idea today is to first throw some light on 5G advanced topics before moving on to the main topic, which is 6G. So without further ado, let's move on to one of the hot topics, AI/ML.
Okay, continuing from Fukuoka. So on AI/ML, the main topic was the UE side data collection. And one of the contentious issues still is whether the control messages for data transfer should be sent over the CP or UP, control plane or user plane. The discussion will most likely to continue in Wuhan as well.
Interesting. And is there a consensus on the understanding of the RAN requirements for this? Because if I'm not wrong, the RAN requirement for this is that the data collection must be over user plane and the mobile network operators need to have full control and visibility over this.
Indeed, that's correct. There are many discussions on this topic, and finally SA2 sent a liaison statement to RAN2 seeking further clarification on the requirements for UE data collection. This includes questions on how the data collection should be triggered.
I see. So I guess they would also like to understand RAN's views on which UE should be collecting data as well, right?
Exactly. So those are the main points on the discussion on the AML. So let's jump on to next topic, Sushmit. So NTN, what was the discussion in NTN?
So it was a continuation of the discussions from the Fukuoka meeting, where basically the different categories of solutions for IMS voice over geosatellite was discussed. However, in this meeting, the main focus was on key issue 2, which is basically on IMS enhancements to support IMS voice over geosatellite.
Interesting. So if I remember correctly, in the last episode you mentioned saying that both CP and UP solutions were discussed. So are there any RAN implications?
That's a very good point. In fact, in this meeting, a significant amount of time was spent on drafting a liaison statement. And finally, after a lot of back and forth, we reached a consensus and we ended up sending an LS to several working groups, including RAN. And this LS essentially includes questions seeking clarification on feasibility of control plane solution, potential new SRBs, ROHC issues, NAS layer security overhead, RLC unacknowledged, acknowledged mode, and support for multiple voice calls and few other questions.
Good to know. So were there also discussion on UESAT, UE enhancements?
Not really, because like I mentioned, a significant amount of time was spent on this liaison statement. However, the last update on UESAT UE enhancements is same as what we had from Fukuoka meeting. We have agreed certain interim conclusions, and that's about it for this topic. So let's move on to the next topic, Ambient IoT. So Malla, what do you have for us?
So Ambient IoT for release 20 5G Advance, key issues for supporting UE reader were agreed, as well as for device originated autonomous traffic for advanced ambient IoT devices.
I see. So was it only key issue descriptions or were solutions also opened and handled?
Documenting solutions also started, but mainly for topic on the device originated autonomous traffic.
I see. So do we have any clear trends on various categories, different categories of solutions, or is it too early?
In fact, it's too early for that. So RAN need to get work, and only 4 solutions were opened in the last meeting. So that's the main thing. So let's move on to next topic, Sushmit. So what the news we have on sensing?
Well, sensing, we actually have an interesting update since the last meeting in Fukuoka and since the last video that we uploaded in this series. So we finally have the scope of 5G Advanced for sensing decided based on the plenary decision. So for 5G Advanced, we will only be studying G Node B based monostatic sensing.
Oh, understood. Okay. How about solutions?
Yes, in this meeting, there were a lot of solutions submitted, but the focus was mainly on key issues 4, 5, and 6 because these were not tackled sufficiently in the Fukuoka meeting. And these key issues are mainly to do with sensing data transport, sensing result exposure, and configuration of parameters on sensing entities.
Oh, interesting. Any contentious issues?
Yes, regarding whether or not UV can serve as a sensing service consumer. So it was a hot topic in this meeting, and after a lot of debate and a lot of back and forth, as a group we finally reached an agreement that for this release, UE will not be considered as a sensing service consumer.
Ah, interesting. So look like some good progress has been made.
Indeed, and hopefully we can start discussing interim conclusions in the upcoming meetings. So moving on to the main topic from the meeting, this was the first meeting, as I understand, where contributions for 6G were submitted.
Yeah, indeed. 6G is one of the hot topic in SA2. And there were more than around 300 TDocs are submitted, which also shows huge interest from the different companies from across the globe. That is an interesting point. And as you know that we have total 8 work tasks and of course sub work tasks on the topics, different topics. We had long whole week meeting to build the consensus, to identify the scope of each work task. That was the main target for the August meeting. And I think August is the first meeting, so it was made good progress to understand each other, where we stand from each company point of view. We try to build consensus on it, but unfortunately we can't, we not agreed any contributions or PCR as such, apart from this network sharing aspect. But major chunk of the TDocs PCR has to postpone because we not build any consensus. But it's a usual thing when you have a complete new generation in the first meeting. So we need some time to digest a bit on the concepts coming from different companies from different regions. I think overall it's quite, in my view, it's very good progress. And we have a challenge for next 1 quarter to build the consensus, to understand the scope of each work task. And we have kind of tentative target to complete the key issues also by November. So I'm hoping that we reach this target to complete all the key issues, majority of the key issues by November.
Interesting. And as you rightly said, this was still the very first meeting. And I think every company is also trying to decide where each other stands on various issues, and there would have been a lot of contentious issues. But any major points of contention according to you?
6G AI was the hot topic as usual. And most discussion was around AI agent. And the 2 broad categories are considered for AI, this AI for network for AI. In both cases, AI agent was the hot topic, whether and how to introduce different AI technologies such as AI agent in 6G to improve the network performance, QoS in SA2 study. That's the main topic. So another topic was the data framework. So could you please throw some lights on data framework, Sushmit?
Indeed. As you're aware, data is getting more and more value, especially in this AI era, and the telco networks are generating huge amounts of data. And because of this reason, one of the main objectives for 6G is to manage this large amounts of data efficiently, but possibly over a common data framework. But currently, there seems to be different views among various companies on how to coordinate the tasks within 3GPP, especially regarding which working groups takes the initiative, whether it's SA2 or SA5. So these are few of the main contentious topics. Yeah. But like you rightly said, this is still the first meeting and we have a long way to go for 6G. So moving on from the SA2 meeting to the plenary meeting that took place in September in China. So Malla, what news do you have for us from the plenary?
Okay, so plenary, if you ask me the hot topics in the plenary, so I will pick 3 topics. The first one was about SA3 SID was approved, which contains the 4 work tasks on different aspects as part of the security. And the reporters were announced, the primary reporter from Orange and the secretary from Nokia. And the 6G study completion date is June 2027. That was the one topic. And the next one is about, as you already pointed, about the work split between the SA2 and SA5 on data framework. So in the plenary, we had long discussions. So in the end, there was guidance from the plenary to SA2 and SA5 to continue to progress and collaborate with the RAN working groups on the 6G data related aspects, but taking 5G working scope as a starting point. And there was also consensus saying that if you run 2 groups parallelly on the same aspects, they might lead to duplication of design. Therefore, SA2 made 2 checkpoints to check the progress of the 2 working groups to identify any duplication of design so that we can avoid such kind of duplications. So that we have consistent behavior in the whole wider system perspective. And finally, we have very good progress on the ORAN. It has 3GPP is concluded saying that the functions hosted by the RU as well as the interface between RU and other parts of the 6G Node B are not specified in 3GPP, which means the interface can be implemented by the ORAN Alliance specification for multi-vendor interoperability, or it could be eCPRI based, or of course proprietary mechanism, which is a very good progress in my view to at least to in the past to have a deadlock between the split. Now it's very clear split decided between the 3GPP and the ORAN Alliance. Yeah, those are the main aspects from the SA Plenary.
Very interesting. In fact, I would say it's a significant development in terms of the update that you gave us from the ORAN Alliance. And thank you for that quick summary and for providing a recap of the main talking points from the plenary meeting. So folks, that's it from today's episode. As you just heard, we provided you an update of the main talking points from the SA2 meeting that took place in August 2025, as well as the plenary meeting that took place in September 2025. Hope you found it informative. And as you've just heard, 6G is gathering steam. So please stay tuned to this space for more such content and more information. Thank you.